So I'm going to call on Dr. Catherine Omotayo.
Thank you very much for inviting me on this platform, and thank you very much as well for everyone involved in the Nigerian magazine. It's my second time being on this platform and I love it. I love being in this community. So what I wanted to talk about mainly is flexible working, and starting from the point that if you didn't know you can be flexible, then you won't even enter that space and that mindset. I think a lot of people don't actually realize that work can be flexible. It doesn't have to be exactly what is written. And what we've seen in many times is people creating the job. As some of the speakers did say, is if there's no table there, then you create one. So just to give it a bit more substance, I'll give you a bit of my experience. As I said, my name is Catherine. I am a GP doctor, and I'm actually a few months away from becoming a consultant. Other than that, because I didn't want to fit into that, is the fact that I became a founder of now a social enterprise called Mum's Pride, which is a community group for mothers from different backgrounds and different stages of motherhood. But what we do is what we've been talking about, which is supporting each other, empowering each other, and most of all, like today, we're celebrating each other. Now, where did the flexible working come from? I had my child when I was in third year medical school. So it doesn't get any more flexible than that. You can imagine trying to juggle my studies, juggling being a mum, still being myself, because that's one thing that I've realized a lot of times is that people give up themselves or a part of themselves just because they are now on a career journey. So that's where flexible working comes, and believe in yourself that you can create your own path, not just for the people after you, but actually for yourself is very, very important. And you can actually take this into every aspect of your life. So when I started working, I realized that medicine is actually very much like many others, very much male dominated, let alone Black people. It was just male dominated. And imagine as a Black young woman entering that world and being a mother, a new mother, trying to juggle everything was quite hard. I was single for like the majority of the time. So paying childcare with my student loan, benefits on taking benefits from the council. I just had to really juggle a lot with the community that was my family and the friends that I created. And that's where Mum's Pride comes in. Now, how do you create that flexible working? Well, first of all, is actually understanding the role that you are in. Not just a job role. I just want us to try and open and come out the box and not just think about working as in your career. Working would be anything that you're doing. See it as that's your project. Understand what your role and your importance is in that role that you're taking, and then cater it to yourself. Because one thing I believe as women is that we're not here just to warm seats. We're not here just to look pretty and to show different boards that we deserve that place, but we are actually here because we deserve to be. We're here because I believe as a Christian is God has brought me here for a reason. So I need to cater, I need to make things work around me, not because I think I'm Queen of Sheba, but because I am a queen myself and I deserve to make things work for me, no matter what I look like, because I look young. So imagine even just having hello, my name is Dr. Omotayo. They will still think I had someone that thought I was a hairdresser. People will automatically think you are anything other than what your name actually says. And I'm sure many women can actually testify to going into a room, having it written on your forehead what you do, and still be mistaken for something, I won't say less because every job is important, but something different. So what I did want to highlight is that when you are trying to be flexible, you understand your role, you also want to have order in your role. You want to have order by creating a routine. And that's one thing that I want to encourage us to do. I'm not saying I have it all together all the time. Even Auntie will know that I was rushing from work today and I was thinking, can I make it? Can I make it? But what is the honest truth is that when there is order, it's just like order in your home, things work. When there's order in your workplace, in your role, in your house, in your career, things work. How do they work? By reducing the risk of feeling overwhelmed. And that's what we are always talking about, mental health. How do you manage all the different hats if you don't actually understand how they all fit into your role? So as a mother, I know that I just had to pick up my son. As people were speaking, I was there putting things in the oven, doing what I needed to do. I wrote my notes to speak today, and I did my whole full session at work. This is something that we all do. But why are we applauding ourselves when it's something that we do? That's because a lot of the time we've been covered. We've been put a veil upon ourselves. Sometimes that we do it ourselves. I'm sure we've all heard of imposter syndrome, when you don't believe you deserve to be somewhere. That's something that plays also in flexible working. If you don't believe you deserve to be given the chance to manage all the different aspects of your lives, you will just fumble. And I'm here to encourage ourselves to not fumble because we don't need to, but also not to take more than what we can handle. Because sometimes there is a season for different things. When I was in medical school, there was times that I didn't see my son for few days, few nights, because I had to focus on my work and make sure I passed, so then he can go around saying, "Mommy's a doctor." So there is a season for everything. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was expectations. What is the expectation at work? What's the expectation of your role? As a doctor, I know that they expect me to be there on time, to deal with all the different things that are coming up, and to be there the next day prompt, dealing with different patients. So what I do realize is that when people now see me not being there for a day, they wonder, "Oh, why are you not here this day?" Well, it's called part-time working. People look down on part-time work so much. And what we need to do is remove that and make it the norm, like many other things. But then when you're seen as a full-time working woman, or you're career focused, but why are we putting such titles to the kind of lifestyle that we have? Just call it my life. Why do you have to put a title on it? And that's why I love the job I'm doing, because I can then create the kind of timetable that works for me. If I don't want to work on Wednesday, there'll be somebody else there to deal with you. And that's the same thing in many other ways. But I do recognize that everyone's financial situation is also different. So a lot of my colleagues who are mothers had to do this part-time, whereas myself, I did it full-time, because I just couldn't afford, not just financially, but also with time, to do things part-time. Did that make me stronger? No. Did that make me better? No. It just made it my way, my life. I wanted to finish quickly. I wanted to go and start working because I wanted to come out of that system. So I did what I had to do, knowing that I had some losses. Yes, I missed certain times that my son was doing things at school. Parent evening, when everybody's finished, that's when I arrive. "Please, let's sit down and talk about my son." And it doesn't matter. Many times people will see me as his older sister because I look young, or he's what they call it, the ghost mom. I'm sure a lot of people have heard it, the ghost mom, because you're not there, because you're doing so many things. And I want to encourage each other not to put ourselves down, because if we count ourselves and bring ourselves up high, no matter what the world says, it will not affect us. So then that's when I wanted to bring in other policies in the Nordic countries who now have valued paternity leave. That's because they also recognize the allies that we've all been talking about today. And there is no point celebrating ourselves without celebrating those beside us. Not above or beneath, but beside us. That's because they need to support us. If you have a partner, use them to your own advantage, in a sense of understanding their power and the importance of them supporting your leadership role. My partner now, for example, whenever I'm having any of the Mums Pride events, he is there to promote. He is there to pick up the stuff, to clear out, and to do all the things that I need to do, just for me to look good. He will be even holding the camera and the lighting whenever I'm doing certain things. But we do the same. But no one applauds us. Why? Because it's expected. Many things that we just do are so expected from us, to the point that we then devalue ourselves. And then we try to value ourselves, we try to fit what the society says. And that's the whole thing of a strong Black woman who is full-time, who is not flexible. But I'm here to encourage and to actually break that, to encourage ourselves and empower ourselves to be flexible. Flexible at work, flexible with ourselves, and flexible with our lives. And that's how we build that community. And that's all we were saying. Have that community around you of people that also have that flexible mindset. How can we learn if we are so strict? with a certain mindset? How can we learn if all we know is that we need to just go and do our work, come home and be the woman in the house? So just to conclude, I'm just encouraging all of us to figure out what works for ourselves and make it work for the best way. Thank you.